Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Mr. Sanchez coming at you with a lesson for Algebra 2, Section 2.5. This is technically from pre-calc book. This is a transformation of functions. We're going to focus on part 2 of this, which is reflection across the y-axis and reflections across the x-axis. After this, we'll be doing horizontal stretches and shrinks, but we'll worry about that later. Okay. Let's go on to our next thing. Reflections about the x-axis. That looks like this. Y equals negative f of x. Things I want you to notice. And you should write all of this down. Negative is outside of parent function. Okay. You reflect about the x-axis. Okay. And we're just gonna go ahead and draw these. All right. So we have graph y equals negative x cubed. So the original x cubed, I'm gonna draw it in blue. Right, the original x cubed looks like this. This is y equals x cubed. So what the negative does is gonna bring this point down and this point up here. It's gonna flip them across. And so instead of going up one to the right, you're gonna go down one to the right and up one to the left. And the real graph should look like this. Okay, so you don't want this graph. You're gonna want this graph. Okay. When it comes to y, if you draw y equals cube root of x, cube root, you go here 0, 1, 1, and negative 1, 1. It's gonna go like this, right? The graph looks something like this, right? But when you do the negative, this is gonna go down and that's gonna go up. Okay, so you're gonna still start at the origin, but instead of going up one to the right, you're gonna go down one to the right and up one to the left. That's gonna make your graph look like this. Right? And the blue one is not the one we want, so we're gonna draw the red one. Okay. Next up, we have the square root. The square root graph looks like this. So 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, and 4, comma 2. Right? When you do negative, you're gonna do 0, 0, 1, negative 1, and 4, negative 2. So you're reflecting across the y-axis. So basically, you're gonna go over. Last but not least, we have absolute value, right? The original and y equals absolute value of x. That one starts at 0, you go up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, and you draw a graph like this. You draw a graph like this. That's the original one. When you have the negative on the outside, you flip it across the y-axis. So instead of going up 1, you're gonna go down 1. All right, and you just draw your graph like that. And we do not need the negative. We do not need the negative, the positive one. This is what the negative one looks like. So basically what the negative on the outside does, it makes our graph flip over, okay? All right, let's go on ahead and do the next kind of problems, the next couple of problems, right? This is the base, this is what it does to the parent functions. Right, now let's practice doing this to some of our other functions. All right, so we're gonna see what happens if you do another transformation, all right? So our original graph looks like this, 0, 0, 1, 1, and 4, 2. This is the original graph. This is y equals cube root of x, right? Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna apply this transformation right here. We're gonna do y equals negative cube root of x. So what that means is that instead of going up, instead of going that way, we're gonna do what we did in the previous slide. And instead of going this way, we're gonna reflect all those values, right? And now that we've done this, we're gonna do -1. What does -1 do? -1 shifts everything down one step, right? So that means we're gonna go down. So instead of signing 0, 0, we're gonna have here negative 1, 0, negative 1. Instead of having 1, negative 1, we have 1, negative 2. Instead of having 4, negative 2, we're gonna have 4, negative 3. And that's our graph. Let me just go ahead and label some points for us. 0, 0, 1, 1, 4, 2. Those are the key points. We go from to 0, 0, negative 1, negative 1, and 4, negative 2. This one goes 0, negative 1, 1, negative 2, and 4, negative 3. Okay. Go on to our next slide. All right, very similar problem, only we're gonna start again, 0, 0, 1, 1, 4, 2. All right, that's equals y equals square root of x. You'll notice we have the negative on the outside, so we're gonna shift it up, reflect it across the y-axis. Right, and now we have +2 on the inside. When you have +2 on the inside, that means we're gonna go to the left 2 spaces. So this graph is gonna go to the left 2 spaces. So instead of being here, we're gonna start here. And then we're just gonna go down 1 over 1 and then down 1 over 3, 1, 2, 3. And that's our graph. This is y equals negative square root of x plus 2. This one y equals negative square root of x. Okay, and this is your final graph. You do not need to draw all graphs. If you are able to do all graphs in one transformation, that's great. That's the goal. That's the goal for our class. But don't be afraid if you don't be upset or disappointed if you can't do that. Okay, we're gonna go on ahead and do our next problem. Ooh, this one has the absolute value function. Okay, so let's go ahead and practice this one. Okay, so first we're gonna start off with y equals the absolute value of x. That starts at 0, 0, has 1, 1, and negative 1, and looks like a v. Okay. We are now going to do y equals negative absolute value of x. So instead of opening upward, we're gonna start opening downward. Okay. You're gonna notice our graph is gonna look like this. More or less, okay? What we're going to be doing next is we're gonna be shifting to the left one. So you see how we have +1? That means we're gonna go to the left. So instead of opening at 0, 0, we're gonna open at negative 1, 0. And the graph is still gonna behave the same way. Okay? That's kind of ugly. Okay, let's try that. All right, last but not least, we're gonna do y equals negative x, absolute value of x plus 1 plus 2. So that means we're gonna move up 2, right? So instead of, we're gonna go left 1, up 2. You're gonna go down 1, 1, all right? And that's our graph. That's how we do it step by step. Otherwise, you can just go from here. You can say we're gonna go to the left 1, right? We're gonna go up 2, and you're gonna go open downward. Right. All right, let's go over one more problem. Now we got to do this with the cubic function, okay? I'm gonna try to do this in one step, all right? I have 4 graphs, but we're gonna go ahead and do this in one step. So -2 means we're gonna go to the right 2. +1 means we're gonna go up 1, okay? So we can do these together, and we know because it's cubic, it should look like this. But because of this negative, our graph is actually gonna look like this. It's gonna go this way. So we're gonna go to the right 2, up 1. You still go, and instead of going up 1 over 1, you're gonna go up 1 to the left 1. And the graph should look like this. Okay. And that's it. This is our graph. All right. We're gonna go ahead and do some more graphs, but we're gonna move on to the next problem, okay? Now we gotta do reflections about the y-axis. One thing I want you guys to notice about the reflection in the y-axis is that the negative is inside the parent function. Okay, and one thing I noticed is I forgot to change these equations. This should be negative x cubed. This should be cube root of negative x. And this should be square root of negative x. And this should be negative absolute value of negative X, okay? Let's go ahead and do that. And I'm gonna show you what these look like. This one gonna open like this. Okay. The absolute value of cube root of X is gonna open like this. Absolute square root's gonna open backwards. Like this. And an absolute value is gonna look the same, surprising. Okay, this one's gonna look the same. One of the few functions that does that, okay? But if we look at the original ones look like this. Right, and this one looks like this, and this one looks like that, alright? So there is a change, okay? Don't think that I'm just drawing random points. We just went around the y-axis, okay? That's what it does to our graphs. Let's go on to our next process life. We're gonna go ahead and try and graph this, okay? So let's go ahead and graph the original one. We're gonna graph the parent function. You see something power of 3. That means our parent function is x cubed. Let's go ahead and graph x cubed. X cubed looks like this. Right? Oops. We're gonna move to the right one. Okay, well, now we're gonna draw y equals x plus 1 cubed. So we're gonna go to the, that's actually not the right, oops. I'm going up, I'm going ahead one of myself. We're actually gonna go to the left one, okay? So we're gonna go to the left one, up one to the left, up one to the right. Oops, nope, that's the wrong points. It should look like this. All right, now we gotta reflect, okay? We're gonna do y equals negative x plus 1 power of 3. So what this does is instead of being here, we're actually gonna go to the opposite side. This is gonna go all the way over here, okay? So instead of having negative 1, 1, we're gonna do plus 1, 1. This point is still gonna be here. And then instead of having negative 2, negative 1, we're gonna have positive 2, negative 1. And now our graph is gonna look like this. Okay, and that's it. It's like we rotated it around the y-axis, because literally what we're doing while we're reflecting. Okay. All right, let's go over to the next one. All right, we have the absolute value of negative x plus 2 minus 2. So this is cube root of x, so it looks like this, right? We should know what it looks like right now. Because we have minus 2, we're gonna go ahead and do that. We're gonna go down 2 steps and then draw the same graph. All right, now we gotta do the negative on the inside, so we're gonna reflect everything inside of the around the y-axis. So this is gonna flip, this is gonna flip, my bad. We're gonna be here, and this point's gonna be here, and this point's gonna be here instead. This goes like this, and this goes like this. Now it looks like I'm just kind of doing randoms, but basically this point's gonna go over here, and this point goes over here. And that's how we get this graph. However, I don't really like how I drew it, so let me just retry that right here. There we go. And that's it. And we have one more example, and then we're almost done, all right? All right, let's go ahead and graph these one at a time. We have y equals square root of x. Right, so we're gonna start at our base function that looks like this. I'm gonna go ahead and do plus 1 here. So we're gonna do plus 1 here. So we're gonna do y equals square root of x plus 1. Right, we're now gonna do y equals negative x minus 2 plus 1. So now we're gonna go to the right 2. So plus 2, we're gonna start here, up one over 1, and then like this. All right, so what you're gonna notice is for the last one, we have to reflect y equals square root of negative x minus 2 plus 1. So the negative means instead of being here, we're gonna go all the way over here. Right? Instead of being here, we're gonna go all the way over here. So everything is flipped this way. So our graph should look like this. Ta-da. And that's it. All right. We're gonna practice one more, and then we're gonna call it a day. I think I don't have any more. Yeah, we're gonna call it a day after this. Okay. So we have y equals absolute value of x. That was very simple. You graph like this in a V shape. We're gonna do y equals absolute value of x minus 3. We're gonna shift down 3 steps and do the V shape still. And then we're gonna do y equals absolute value of x plus 1 minus 3. So we're gonna go to the left one, right? And now you're gonna notice that is V shape. Here's the neat part. When you do the negative, you didn't notice, you're gonna notice what it does. So in the original slide, I showed you that it looks the same, but because now we've done some transformations, this point's gonna go this way. This point's gonna go here and then all the way over here. And this point's gonna stay there. So this ends up being like this. A point here, a point here, and a point here. It's gonna look like this. Ta-da. All right, and that's basically it, guys. That's how we graph them. We just do the transformations and then we reflect. Basically, we just move this over here and we move this over here. And then this moves around the same point. But other than that, that's it, guys. Have a great day. This is the end of this section. We're gonna do one more, and that's about it. Bye.